I wasted years, not on the wrong people, on the wrong assumption. I lived like the clock had a pause button, like there would always be another summer, another chance, another season to finally get serious about the things I kept pushing to next month. There wasn't. There never is. And the moment that hits you, not as a quote on a wall, not as something a philosopher wrote, but as a cold fact you feel in your chest, everything changes. Not slowly, all at once. This is what memento mori actually means. Not that you should be afraid of dying, that you should be furious about wasting the life you have left. These are the 6 things that change when you stop pretending you have forever. Number 1, he stops tolerating the people who drain his time. The man who understands his clock is running does not sit through another dinner with someone who only calls when he needs something. He does not return the text from the person who disappeared for 6 months and came back with a favor. Seneca said it plainly. People guard their property but waste their time, the one thing no vault can protect. The man who accepts his mortality becomes brutal with his calendar, not cruel, honest. He stops mistaking familiarity for loyalty and availability for friendship. He does not announce this. He simply stops showing up for people who were never going to show up for him. Number 2, he stops postponing the one thing he actually cares about. Every man past 40 carries something unfinished, not written down, buried where no one asks about it. The woodshop he stopped using, the skill he walked away from, the project that made him feel more like himself than anything he has ever been paid to do. He told himself he would get to it when things calmed down. They never calmed down. Machiavelli understood this. The man who waits for the perfect moment is the man who never acts. Fortune does not reward patience. It rewards the man who moves before he is ready. The man who stops pretending he has forever does not wait for a clean calendar. He clears the table himself and starts with what he has. If this is hitting you where it should, subscribe. I do not chase algorithms. I make these for men who are done waiting. Hit subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Number 3, he gets honest about what he has been avoiding. This is the one that draws blood, not the external noise, the lie he tells himself every morning, the conversation he keeps rehearsing but never has, the body he stopped trusting, the mirror he angles away from instead of into. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a man must put his own impressions on trial every single day, not to punish himself, to stop living on estimates. The man who stops pretending he has forever stops rounding up. He steps on the scale. He opens the account. He sits across from the person he has been avoiding and asks the question he already knows the answer to. This is not destruction. This is surgery. And the man who refuses the knife bleeds out slowly instead. Number 4, he stops asking for permission to live on his own terms. He spent decades checking with the room before making a move, checking if it was appropriate, checking if people would approve, checking if the timing was right according to everyone except himself. The man who accepts his mortality does not run these calculations anymore. He does not poll the crowd. Machiavelli understood that a leader who governs by consensus governs nothing. He is managed by the very people he believes he is leading. The man who knows his time is short stops negotiating with people who have no stake in his outcome. He decides. He moves. And he sleeps well because the decision was his and no one else's. Number 5, he stops working for applause and starts working for permanence. Not a monument, not a name on a building, something that functions after he is gone, a craft practiced well enough that someone else can learn from it, a standard his children watched him hold when no one was paying attention, a body of work that did not need his name attached to matter. The Stoics did not chase immortality, they chased usefulness, the kind that echoes after the man is gone. Marcus Aurelius governed an empire and spent his nights writing private journals he never intended to publish. They survived 2,000 years. The man who stops pretending he is forever asks one question: If I stopped tomorrow, what would still be standing? And if the answer makes him uncomfortable, he has his assignment. Number 6. He refuses to carry regret. This is the one that buries men. Not failure, a man recovers from failure. Not loss, a man survives loss. Regret is different because it belongs entirely to him. No one handed it to him. He built it himself, one skipped conversation at a time, one quiet season at a time, 1 year of almost at a time. Machiavelli warned that hesitation is where opportunity goes to die. The Stoics taught that the worst suffering is not what happens to a man, but the distance between what he did and what he knows he was capable of doing. The man who stops pretending he has forever does not add another item to that list. He picks up the phone. He walks into the room. He says the thing he's been swallowing for years, not because it will land perfectly, but because carrying it is already killing him and he knows it. You were not put here to play it safe and die with a list of things you never got around to doing, and the sooner you accept that the clock does not pause for your comfort or your plans or your fear of getting it wrong, the sooner you start living like a man who knows exactly what he has and refuses to waste another hour of it on people who do not deserve his time or work that does not deserve his name. The ancient world understood this better than we do because they watched men die in the arena and on the battlefield and in the street. And every philosopher who survived long enough to write anything worth reading said the same thing in his own words. Your life is happening right now, and the only tragedy is the man who understood that and still did nothing about it. You do not need more time. You need to stop pretending the time you have is not already running out. You already know what you are. Finally, Ruthless.